welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. For those that are new, welcome. Today we're going to talk about my December reading wrap up, and so we're going to talk about the books that I read, some that I DNF'd, and my favorite for the month. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's take a look at the pile here, my list, my books that I had read or not read. So let's start with The Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates. This is the second book that I have read by Darcy Coates, and I ended up the second one that I DNF'd. I also DNF'd From Below, and then I also DNF'd this one, unfortunately. I just think the subject matter and wasn't for me. It was about a group of tourists that take up a tour up to a lodge on the top of a snowy mountain, and they get stuck in a snowstorm, so they have to survive in this lodge. And what happens, who gets murdered, who lives, who dies, all who's doing it, who's the murderer, that kind of thing. It just got to be too gory for me, too out there, too horror filled for me, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so I didn't really appreciate this one, but that's okay. This is for somebody out there. So this one, unfortunately for me, did not work, but that's all right. Moving on to a book that really did work for me and that I absolutely loved is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. This is in the same realm as The Spell Shop. It is a little bit before it and also during the same time as The Spell Shop. So it's kind of a prequel, but kind of also during the same time. So yeah, I really did enjoy this one. I loved it. I actually gave it 5 stars. I love this beautiful cover. And in the snow time, it is a good time to read it because of the amount of snow and then the warm greenhouses as an escape. So I did really enjoy this one. So I would definitely highly recommend for those that have read anything else by Sarah Beth Durst to continue on in this series. I loved it. And so let's go ahead and move on to the third book. This was one of the 10 books before the end of the year that I wanted to read, Children of Time by Adrian Kiskowski. I always butcher that name, so sorry. But yeah, so this one is a sci-fi book, as you can probably tell by the cover. But this one was about everybody escaping planet Earth because it's become too polluted, and so they're finding a new habitation. And there's some science experiments going on to see if they can form life on other planets and things like that. And so part of it was about the spaceship that was trying to find their new planet to live on, and then the other part of the story was about this new spider colony or a civilization and what they get up to. And so I just did not care for the spider story. I wanted more space exploration, more space stuff, and so it just wasn't for me. I wasn't invested in the other colony. So I did end up actually DNFing this book as well. I did give it a good chance, but unfortunately it just wasn't for me. So I gave it a shot. But now moving on to book 4, which is also doing every other great read. So What She Left Behind by Ellen Marie Wiseman. This is actually the second book by this author that I've read. I did not realize that until I went and looked back at my history. And so The Lost Girls of Willowbrook was the first book by the author, and I loved that. I listened to that as an audiobook. This one I got physically from a recommendation from Krista from Books and Jams and Elena's Bookshelf. And so I loved this one. It was so good. I had to really go in and see right away what the other books this author has written. And so I did that, and I purchased the newest release by this author. I think this might be a new favorite author of mine, which is very cool to say. And so I also gave this one, as you can probably tell, 5 stars, which is awesome. Again, this is 2 dual timelines, one in the present and then one during, I think it was the 30s. I believe that is correct. And so yeah, and about the lives of a young woman that gets institutionalized because she stood up to her father, and the stories that unfold with that. And then also about the current timeline about a girl that is in a foster system and in a foster family, and she helps that family uncover some archives of the institution where the first timeline where she I think it's Clara Cartwright, where she had lived for years of her life. And so, yeah, so it was very good story. I really did enjoy this read. And then moving on to my nonfiction book for the month, it is Introvert Power by Lori Hilgo, I believe. This was good. I did really enjoy it. I liked the perspective that about a half or maybe a little more than half the population is actually introverted, and it takes away the stereotype that only 10% of the population is introverted, which is not true. It's maybe half or more than half is actually introverted, which is very interesting. And so I did enjoy the points that this author was making. Unfortunately, the research is a bit dated now, but it's still very valuable read. And so I'd still recommend it, but just know that maybe some of the research needs to be updated to today's times, because it was like early 2000s research sometimes, or even later than that before. Yeah, because it was like written in 2008. And so it makes sense about the time the book was written, what research was out there. So I would love an updated version of this with new research for today's standards, but some today examples would be amazing. But I did really enjoy this, and how there's different things like why I might want to go on a reading retreat or a retreat, and how wanting to be one with nature, and why I don't necessarily like to go out to parties and how draining they are, and just thinking about what more can I do for myself in like the workplace as an introvert, and sharing my thoughts and opinions and things like that from my perspective, versus like loudest voice gets heard, but how can I still share my opinion in a way that works for me. So I did really enjoy this for sure. I'd recommend it as a good read if you're interested in reading some more nonfiction this next year. I did then meet my goal for 10 nonfiction books for the year, which is awesome. It's very exciting. And so yeah, I really did enjoy that. I'm going to continue to read 10 pages of nonfiction a day in 2026. So stay tuned for the first book that I'm reading, The Dressmakers of Auschwitz. It's the same author as Four Red Sweaters that I'm reading for my first nonfiction book in January. And so this is my first Mary Kubica book, Local Woman Missing. This is the first book that both my mom and I have read now, and it was kind of cool and excited for my mom. She was really excited to see where I was at in the book. I wanted to know what I was thinking, and it was so fun to chat with her about a book that she's actually read and enjoyed, and just sharing that time with her and talking through this book. It's about two different women that go missing in the same neighborhood, and then one of the women's daughter also goes missing at the same time, and what happens when the girl returns. And then it's like dual timeline, goes back and forth between the past and the present, and leading up to what's actually happening at the present day. There were some good twists. I did appreciate that. I did guess the final twist, but that's okay. It was still really good. I really did enjoy it. But yeah, so it was good. I liked the characters in this. I did enjoy it. I think I would read Mary Kubica again. It just depends on the specific story. I'm not a big murder mystery person, or like local missing person story, or like a detective. I'm not really into those, but if it's like a thriller, then maybe I'd be more interested in it. It just depends on the storyline. I'm also not a domestic family kind of reader either. Domestic drama, it's not really my thing. But yeah, so depending on the storyline, I might read by this author again. So that is very exciting. All right, moving on to the second to last book, we have The Book Club by Sarah Morgan. This was the first book of Sarah Morgan that I've read, and I did really enjoy this one. I did go right away online and see if I could find more books of this author or storylines I'd be interested in, because I'm pretty picky about my romance books. And so this is more of a friendship story, and then there's a little bit of romance in there, but it wasn't like at the forefront of the story, which was good. There was some more different things that are happening at this hotel, and the different friendships between three women that go to this hotel to do a week-long retreat during Christmas time, during December, the first time they get away during December, and what they help each other through some things that they're all going through. And so just helping each other friendship, and it was very cool to see. And the owner of the hotel as well, and her struggles, and the friends and family and romance that she gets into at this hotel. So I really did enjoy this one. I also gave this one 5 stars as well. So I would highly recommend this one if you are interested. It's also, the main women are all just turned 40 or going to turn 40. And so it was nice to have some women in a story that are around my age and not some young 20 something person. They had some experience, which was nice, and some families and things like that. I did enjoy that part of the book as well. So last but definitely not least is, of course, the next Dungeon Crawler Carl book that I read. This is book 5, The Butcher's Masquerade by Matt Denman. All leading up to this masquerade at the end of the story and what all the shenanigans that Carl and Jonah and everybody get up to. I love this like hot pink and green and yellow kind of cover. You can see Donut there with her sunglasses and tiara. But yeah, I did really enjoy this one. Again, of course, I gave it 5 stars. It was great. It's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite out of the books so far, but that's okay. It's all right. It's still 5 stars. It's still funny. It's hilarious. So much happens, action packed. I love this series. And so I'm continuing currently in the middle of the 6th book. So I did really highly recommend that series that are interested in it to maybe pick up one, or even the audiobooks. The audiobooks are awesome and amazing. I have switched to reading these books on my Kindle. They are available on Kindle Unlimited because of how big they are. It's been a struggle to carry them around in my apartment. They're so big. So it's been nice that I've been able to read them on my Kindle, which has been a lifesaver in all the weights that I've been moving around. And so I have one more audiobook that I finished at the end of the year. It is The Heir of Fire by the Throne of Glass series. It is the 3rd book in that series. By Sarah J. Maas. I did really enjoy it. I gave it 4 stars. It took me forever to get through it because of my library holds. And I was just using it in a fantasy mood, which sometimes that happens. But I did really enjoy this reading month. As far as my favorite overall book for the month, I think I'm gonna have to say What She Left Behind by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I wanted to say something else. Ellen Marie Wiseman. What She Left Behind is my favorite book for the month, which is very exciting. And so yeah, so it's very good to have a great, excellent reading month. So yeah, stay tuned for my yearly wrap up from all the books that I read from the whole year and what my top 10 favorites are. Those are coming soon. Thank you for staying into watching this video and enjoying seeing what I got up to in the month of December. Please in the comments below let me know what your favorite book you read for the month of December was. If you didn't finish any books, that's also all right. Just go ahead and do me a different color heart emoji. What is your favorite color? And show me in a heart. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.